Attorney Jonathan Elson, reminding you that if you've been injured in an auto accident, it's important to have somebody on your side. When you need a lawyer,
then you need Nelson.
Following the Regional Planning Commission agenda item for a proposal regarding the amount of large animals on properties around Pahrump, residents showed up today to voice their opinion at the Board of County Commissioners meeting regarding this ordinance. Last week, the RPC had a packed room with residents who wanted to express their concerns over a backyard chicken ordinance on specifically zoned properties. Planning Director Brett Waggoner started out asking the commissioners to give him direction on this item and how to write the ordinance that they had directed staff to write. The backup on the BOCC agenda referenced a property that was cited recently for a nuisance, having a large amount of animals in pens that were allegedly being slaughtered. Neighbors even alleged that they were also selling the meat. Many locals do not want governmental restrictions placed on their land. Brett Waggoner thinks that this item should be addressed through code compliance under nuisance instead of placing limits on all residents.
I'm a veterinarian here in Nye County, and there's actually a lot of things I agree with, but I'm completely against the government becoming involved. That's my responsibility, their responsibility. That's, it comes down to the community.
And I know 2 women in this valley who have chickens on their property, had chickens all the time they've lived there, and their husbands are now gone, they're widows. And sirs, ma'ams, they are selling their eggs to help support a $900 a month Social Security income. And I'm asking you, along with those widows, for the love of God, please deal with each issue individually. Don't take their livelihood.
More on defining what would constitute a nuisance, because that's what got us into this whole thing in the beginning, was a nuisance complaint. And the board at a bit of a disadvantage because there isn't a whole lot of guidelines when it comes to animals, whether, other than dogs and cats. But the bottom line to this whole thing is, what would constitute a nuisance? Our code today, I heard a lot of, call code compliance. Well, code compliance hands are tied to a certain extent as well, because again, it's very arbitrary with the way our code's written today to what it constitutes a nuisance. So maybe that's a better approach, would be to try to figure out how and give better guidelines on what would determine whether or not it's a nuisance. All it says today is excessive smell, excessive noise, that kind of stuff. So, but there really isn't parameters, because what I might think stinks doesn't necessarily hit that same level of the next person.